Hello and welcome to Harmonic Habits. This is the very first episode, and I'm so excited to be here with Lynda Sunshine West. Reason being is that Lynda is somebody that I interviewed years ago, and I've seen her just explode in her life, in her career, and everything she's doing. So this show is about bringing harmony, happiness, and success to you, your family, your work, everybody involved. Okay, so Lynda, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about yourself?
Hey, Amy, thank you so much for having me back. I mean, it's so cool, to come full circle, right? Where we met each other a couple years ago, and now here we are again. And I love that there's always this connection that we've had with each other throughout the years. And we never met each other in person. So that's one thing that's really cool too about that. My name is Lynda Sunshine West, and Sunshine's not my given name. It's actually the name that was given to me about 3 or 4 years into my personal development journey that started at age 51. I like to share that because, we're never too old to start something new. And my whole life really, I like to say that it began at age 51 because I had so many hangups that I had carried throughout my whole entire life. At 5 years old, I ran away and I was gone an entire week. And during that week when I was gone, I was having a great time because I was a kid and I was just at the neighbor's house, so I was safe. But when I came home, I became riddled with fears and I became a people pleaser. And the fears and the people pleaser would control my life until I was 51. So that's why I like to say that my life really started at 51. And so at 51, I hired a life coach. And I started to see that there was different. I could be different. I could have a different life. And that's when it all started. And that's where the blossoming started happening. So by the time you came into my life, I was about 4 or 5 years into that. And there's still been tremendous shifts, like you mentioned, that have happened because I'm always in this pursuit of this pursuit of more of me, like who am I, and really exploring that. And it's been just an incredible journey. So now I'm a book publisher, something that I never ever imagined, Amy, because I was never a reader and I was never a writer. So here I am doing book publishing, and it's just been a blast, the whole journey. I know we're going to talk about some of the things that I've been up to, and excited to embark on this journey, this interview with you to see what you have up your sleeve.
I know, I'm so excited too. And you touched on a few key things. First off, your journey started when you were 51, right? So many people are packing their life up pretty much when they're 51, planning to just retire and just do settle down and not go after their big dreams, right? And so you're an inspiration to so many people for the fact that that's what you're doing. And we can all relate to either running away or wanting to run away when we're 5 years old. And
Exactly.
and to come back to that and suddenly you're bombarded with all of these fears. Yeah, I could only imagine what your family would have gone through and how that would have, ended up coming into your life too. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right, Lynda, I know you said you never imagined yourself being a book publisher, but I'm sure you wanted to start into business and things before. So what was the specific incident that had you want to start into business?
Well, that was in 2014. That's when I hired my life coach, and as I was working with her, she was helping me to discover more of who I am and what values I have to offer. Because I never thought I was worth anything. I had no value. My dad was an abuser. My first husband was an abuser, and so unfortunately, I just carried that negativity along with me and the beliefs about myself from them. I carried those along with me so many years. And one of those things that my ex-husband used to say was every day he would tell me, "You're stupid and you're ignorant." So unfortunately, I believed him until I met my life coach. So with her, I started that shift of belief in myself. And then one day, it was in 2014, November, I was driving myself to work and I was stuck in traffic like I had been for 36 years. This was my 49th job. And as I was driving myself, I was like, oh my God, I hate this. I hate this life. I don't understand. Why am I here? What's the purpose? What's the reason of my life? I have no value, no purpose. And not only that, what's this whole planet about? This is all stupid. I was just so filled with this anger, that I ended up deciding to quit my job. And I was working for a judge in the Court of Appeals, which is the highest court here in the US, and besides the Supreme Court. And, I decided to quit that job and embark on this journey called entrepreneurship. Ooh. So I was like, oh my gosh, because I had heard that I could be a millionaire in a year. That's what I had heard. And I believed it, Yeah. It hasn't happened yet. Here we are 8 years later. It hasn't happened yet. But notice I use the word yet because it is happening. It's in the process of happening. It's just not in my bank account yet.
Yeah. The funny thing is that we all get this, we get sold a bunch of goods,
Yes.
right? And that's one of the things is like, and I had this as well, right? Like I'm going to be like rich and all this stuff. And it's like, you end up becoming an overnight success after 10 or 20 years of putting in the time, right? Then there are some people who are lucky enough to have parents who are in business, or they've been around certain environments or social things, or even they just understood tech from an early age. You do have those rare people who are very successful and wealthy, but that's not the normal thing. But we get sold that, and a lot of people's marketing is really good.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I've discovered is that it's not about like the becoming rich overnight thing. That probably happens for a few people here and there, but it's very few and far between. But for me, the thing that I had to shift the most was my belief in myself. That was the first thing. But then also the belief that I deserve money. Because what happened in my first 7 years of my business, which totally tanked, the first 7 years, I'm just so, grateful. I've been remarried. My husband and I've been together for 34 years, and he believes in me and he's always, supporting me. But when the money would come in, I know, really, right? I got a winner. When the money would come in, it would go back out because I didn't know how to manage money. I never learned that, so I had to learn how to manage it. But not only that, I had to learn how to allow it to come in. Mm-hmm. Like when a larger amount of money would come in from a certain client or what have you, I had to not let that scare me. So, when I first started inviting people or asking people to work with me, and I would have let's say, for example, I had a program and it was $500 a month. Like this was, coaches told me you got to do $500 a month for this particular program. So, okay, I'm excited. I got it written down. I'm ready. And then I get on a call with somebody and they'd ask me how much. I'd say it's $50 a month. So it was my fear though, my fear of them rejecting me and or them thinking that I was charging too much or what have you. So I'm so glad I got rid of that fear because that fear does not serve me at all.
No. And the number of people that have that fear, it's crazy. Like, how energy works, right? And it's like, you can transfer fears to other people. And so it's like the collective has a fear very similar to that. And then there are some people who that doesn't even enter their being. They just don't even think like that.
Yeah.
I got another question for you. What actually had you start into book publishing of all things?
Well, in 2015, I was doing something a little maybe crazy to some people. And it was crazy to me too, but I decided to do it. I decided to break through one fear every day for an entire year. So that was starting January 1st of 2015, all the way through the year. Every single day, I would ask myself a question before I got out of bed. And that was, what scares me? And then I would lay in bed and I would wait till the very first fear popped into my head. And whatever that fear was, my commitment was to break through that fear that day. So I embarked on this journey of breaking through fears. And during that year, I ended up meeting somebody who would become my mentor. His name is Greg Reed. And he was writing a book called Footsteps of the Fearless. Since I was breaking through a fear every day, he's like, this is a perfect book for you. You should join us. Yeah. And so I hesitatingly did because it was, scary for me to put my words on paper. And so I said yes, and I joined his book, Footsteps of the Fearless. And then after that year was done, Greg, he said to me, you should write a book about your year of fears because that's really cool that you did that. Mm-hmm. And, there are people out there who would love to read that story. And so I was like, no, I don't need to write a story. Who wants to hear my story? Right. Which I know. It's a very common thing that people say though. And I was one of those that, who wants to read my story kind of thing. And so I ended up writing that book. It took me about 1.5 years to write it because I started over and over again. I didn't know how to finish it. So I ended up meeting a book coach and she taught me how to finish the book. And so I ended up writing it from start to finish in a week. I just sat down and I wrote it and then I published it the following week. So after that book was published, I ended up meeting somebody who she read my book. She read the first 14 pages. She goes, Lynda, I read the first 14 pages and I already broke through 5 fears. That was the moment that I realized the power that our stories have.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, you know what? I was in a book. I wrote a book. What's my next natural state of progression? Because I asked myself this question a lot. What's my next natural state of progression? I'm going to start putting together my own collaboration books, just like my mentor. Why not me? Because it used to be like, why me? But now it's why not me, right? That's one of the words that I use a lot now. And so I did it. I put together a collaboration book, had the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation in that book, the founder of UGG Boots. And you have a picture of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation that she's going to show. And you're the founder of UGG Boots and then the inventor of the credit card magnetic strip. There he is, Frank Shankwitz. Hello, Frank. He's since passed away, so rest his soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just an incredible man. And then I had a book because these guys all said that they would participate, and so I started moving forward to create that book. It is called Momentum. And after that, I was like, you know what? That was a lot of fun. I think I'll do it again. Like, this was not about me being a publisher. This was just about me putting some people together and putting them in a book. And then I did it again with 2 more books. And then those 2 books launched 8 days apart, and both of them hit #1 international bestseller status in under 5 hours.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and that's what I thought too. Like, this is so amazing that this has happened. And I said, you know what? I love this. I know what I'm doing, and I'm damn good at it. This is what I'm going to do.
You are damn good at it. Well, there's a key question you said. Key question. What's my next natural state of progression? And I'm like, the quality of our life is often determined by the questions we ask ourselves or we ask other people, right? And so that's a brilliant one, because you're actually like asking yourself what your natural evolution would be, what your natural progression would be, which means it's going to be in alignment with who you are. Yeah. And you know what's so funny about you and I is, like, I can tell we're aligned because as I'm going through your pictures and the various things, it's like I've been in very similar circumstances, and also was did the best-selling book in a few hours with a group of people. And also I had the privilege of meeting Frank Shankwitz at the Golden Gala, in like the Easy Way Golden Gala. So that was really great. But it's just like some of the things that we have are very aligned. And so it's just so appropriate that you're my very first interview that I'm doing, Lynda.
Yeah.
So,
I was at that Golden Gala. Was that the one where he spoke? I'm sure he spoke. He always speaks. Yeah, I was there, and I didn't meet you. So that's like, we were in the same room. I
know, right? We were this close.
Yeah, exactly.
It does feel like I know you. Like, it really does.
Yeah.
I've never felt like how some people, you meet them and you feel that disconnect. It's like, I don't feel anything between you and I. Like, it's just like nothing. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I got a question now. It's like, how do you attract people into your pipeline, or how do you attract clients, customers, people to collaborate with? What are your secrets?
Well, what's been interesting about the whole journey, especially starting with that life coach, is, I used to be a very judgmental person. I used to be very negative. This is the environment I grew up in, and I carried that type of personality along with me. And so we attract to us more of who we are. And so in the beginning of my life, the very first 51 years, I would attract a lot of negative people into my life. Not all of them were negative, but, a lot of them. And because that's who I was. So I was attracting my own self. So as I've been on this journey and this growth and learning and becoming a much kinder, gentler person, a person we are all judgmental. So don't get me wrong. I can't say that I'm not judgmental, because we all are, but my judgment is different now. It's completely different. And it shifts. Like, if I notice that I'm being judgmental in a negative way, because we judge in positive, we judge in negative. If I notice that that's happening, which I usually notice pretty quickly, I shift my mindset instantly. Wait a minute. No, let's find something good about them. Let's find something that we can focus on. That's the positive side of them, because positivity is so important to me in my life. So one thing I don't think I've told you before, Amy, is that 8 years ago, when I started this journey, I made a personal life's declaration. And that is that for the rest of my life, I will have as much fun as possible hanging out with positive and uplifting people who are making a positive impact on the planet. Like, that is my personal life's declaration. So if somebody doesn't fit that, they're not in my life. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not inviting them in. So how do I attract those people? Is that's my mission. My mission is to be surrounded by those types of people.
Mhm.
So all the people in our books, because really it's all about our books now. That's what I'm doing. All the people in our books, like they could all be introduced to each other and they would all like each other, because that's the ecosystem that I'm creating, because that's what I'm searching for. My reticular activator system is on high alert for positive and uplifting people who are making positive impact on the planet.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah. So that's who I attract, which is
I
awesome.
love it. I love it. And because I'm a happiness and success expert, it's like that's what I focus on too.
Yeah.
Also, many people that get into the journey of happiness and success, they didn't start out that way, right? It's like they go on this mission and this path and decide that they're going to change their life, and that's how they become experts. So you're a living perfect example of that.
Well, you know, on the same lines of that is that, you know, one thing that with working with my life coach, you know, I point back to her a lot, like her and my mentor, Greg, because they were so pivotal. They have been, because they're still in my life, but, you know, they've been so pivotal in my shifts in my own beliefs of myself. And one thing I didn't know is, like, I didn't know that I was in the darkness until I was in the light, because I was in the darkness those first 51 years of my life. My life coach is the one who, like, poked a pinhole in the top of, and, like, I was like, oh, there's light out there. Okay, well, let's like explore that. What does that mean? You know, so I've been on that journey, and it's been incredible. And I'm not getting off that journey. Like, I keep looking for more, because there's more about me that I haven't encountered yet. Let's find out what it is. And my purpose, like living the best life I possibly can, you know, and then helping others to do that as well.
You're in California, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you woke up and you're here for 6 a.m. for this interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is somebody who truly allows the light to shine in you. And I'm saying that because you were saying that your life coach had, like, the poke the hole in that you got to see, oh my God, there's light. It's not just darkness, but it's like the kind of person who wakes up and gets themselves ready to be on a 6 a.m. interview to make a difference for others. That's somebody who's lit up to their purpose. Like, it's like you shine like sunshine. You shine your brightness. It's just so cool. So other than your coach and your mentor, have you had other mentors and coaches along the way, people you've looked up to, admired?
You know, I have, it's interesting because I've had lots of them, even in my past life. You know, I've, you know, had lots of mentors and coaches, because we all do, we have them in our lives, but are they serving us the same way that we need them to? That's like, as you ask that question, I'm thinking that, have I? Yes, I have, definitely. But I'm not sure that they saw in me what they weren't able to pull out of me, what those two really did.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you don't have the right match.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I have a lot of people in my life who are very supportive and you really want to see me succeed, but it's just different about those two. They spend so much different time with me. It's just different time with me. It's not better time or more time. It's different time. It's epiphany time. Like my mentor, he'll literally say 4 words to me. I'm like, shift. Like there's an instant shift, because he'll say four words. He's a man of few words. But, you know, it'll just be an instant shift because he knew exactly what I needed to hear in that moment.
I was just going to ask you that. Is it because they've been where you are, they understand you, or is it just like, is there something deeper?
It must be something deeper, because they haven't been where I was, you know? And so it's sometimes I'll give a really short story on this is, I spend a lot of time at my mentor's house, you know, because, you know, learning from him. And I also volunteered for him for an event he hosts every year. And so I was over there a lot. And one day he was like, hey, do you want to sell some tickets to the event? And I said, yeah, of course I do. That would be great. And so I was like on this phone call. Now I was embarrassed to be on this phone call. I didn't want him to hear me. So I went off into another room. Well, I didn't know he was hearing me. So I went off into this other room, and I'm, you know, doing this call and then get off the call. And he walks in the room and he says, that was the worst sales call ever, like that. And I go, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, here, I thought I did really great. Now they didn't buy, but I thought I did really great on this call. And he says, you think too much. Those 4 words, you think too much. I carry those words with me still
Oh,
today, because when
wow.
I find myself, just agonizing over something or thinking too much, I say, you think too much. I literally do say it in the third person as if it's him saying it. You think too much. And I just stop what I'm doing and I just move on.
Yeah.
Take
Isn't that the
action. Take
best?
action. Yeah.
I've got this saying that I say to myself, it's don't judge, just do, because we spend so much time criticizing, analyzing, trying to figure out all this stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like, wow, what a waste of time and energy. Like, just don't judge it, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to do that because we get so fixated, right, on something. But then what if we instead we just make that one sudden shift and maybe fixate on the next thing? Like stop fixating on the thing that's not moving you forward and fixate on the thing that's going to move you forward, because it's just keeping you stuck there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shifting to that I call it the 4% that's going to make all the difference, right?
Right.
That, and then like forgetting the other stuff for now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then also for me, I like to make things fun. So if I'm having a hard time, I'm like, how do I make this fun? And just whatever I can to make it fun makes it much better.
Yeah. Well, here's one way. I'm going to share something. Okay. I don't know if you saw this, but I did a Facebook Live the other day, and I ended up like singing this little ditty during it. And so this is one of the ways that you can. So like what I do when I'm having this moment of, okay, I realize that I'm stuck. Okay. So I have this little ditty, and you can sing this little ditty. Ready?
Songs.
You want to hear it?
Okay.
It's a little catchy tune. I find my husband singing it all the time. It's really funny.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So it goes like this, and you just do it a cappella. You don't need music. I have awareness. I have awareness now. I have awareness. Oh shoot. Oh, I forgot the words. I have awareness. I have awareness now. I have awareness. I have awareness now. I have awareness. I have awareness now. It's time for me to move on, like Donkey Kong.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Like, and if you know anything about the power of like words and intentions, even if you don't have the awareness when you start that, it's like it helps to get that clarity and that awareness. That's brilliant.
Thank you. But so you do have an awareness, right?
Because barrels at things, and that's also cool.
Exactly. Because in that moment, you are having awareness. Like you're saying, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
And then that is awareness. And then those last words, it's time for me to move on, right? It's time for me to move on, like Donkey Kong. That's like the silliest part of it. So really it is
silly. I just had to throw this up here. So I'm looking around the picture. Okay. So where was this taken? And what's the story behind it?
This was in Balboa Park in San Diego, California. I was doing a photo shoot, and I saw that little cart there, and I said, "How about if I just jump in here and take some pictures of me in here?" And they did, and I love that picture because somebody said it looks like you're driving off of a cliff. I'm like, what? No, it doesn't look like I'm driving off a cliff. Yeah, I was having fun.
I thought you were going to crash into like a grocery store or something like that.
And it's not even moving. It's a stationary one. So it's kind of funny because it's just this stationary one you can get pictures on.
Super good. Super good. Well, we're on pictures. I'm going to ask you a couple other pictures.
Okay.
All right. What about this one?
Oh, that is like a Super Bowl ring, but for baseball. So this was at an event called the City Gala. Notice my gold fingernails. So that was at an event called the City Gala, and I ended up meeting an umpire who is an umpire for the National Baseball League, and he had his rings. So he had two of those on, and I was like, "Oh, can I try that on?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Like it was no big deal, because for him it was no big deal. For him, it was no big deal. And I thought that was really an important piece for me, that this was no big deal. It's because this was just part of his life, part of his job. He was an umpire, and they ended up giving him one of those Super Bowl. I don't know if they call it in the Major League Baseball, but he ended up getting that ring. And so that was pretty cool. His name is Brandon. I was just chatting with him for, about an hour or so, and he was hilarious. We were just having a great time. And so put that ring on, got my picture with it. I have lots of those kinds of stories, lots of those stories. That's so awesome. I don't know how many pictures you have today.
Look at this. Like you're even interviewing Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Remember when Teresa and I had the talk show and she went off? Like we had plans together. So I had a chance to go to this event where Wesley Snipes was. And because I was in this program and I was committed and not allowed to leave, I'm like, I had to miss all of that big event. And she went to it. and she was like interviewing all of these actors and celebrities, and it looked like such a blast. So when I saw this picture of you here, I was like, oh, look at you go, girl. You also got to interview him. What was that like?
Yeah, that was an interesting point, because that interview should not have happened, but I made it happen. So what happened was, you're on this red carpet, and this was an Academy Awards after party is what that event was, the city gala. So I'm on this red carpet with all these other people, probably a good 50 or 60 of us are on that carpet. And Wesley Snipes is coming down the red carpet, and I'm like, oh my God, there he is. Okay, good. We're going to get him, because he was like the star of the night, the main star of the night. And so he was being interviewed over here, a couple people down. And then I was like, oh, there he's done. And he started walking, and he walks right past me, and he keeps walking, and he keeps walking. And then he gets to about like right over here. And I said, that ain't going to happen. Like, I'm going to interview him.
Stop, so I'm an action taker.
Exactly. Well, so he ended up being interviewed by this guy who was, next to me, a couple people away. And I stared at them the whole time, like watching all of their body movement, their mouths move, their eye movement. I watched every single thing, and talk about focus. Like, I was hyper focused on those two people as if there was no one else in the room. And I said, I am going to interview him. In my mind, I'm saying, the second they are done, the absolute second they're done, I'm going to bring him back. And so they finished. I could hear it. Like, it was like that last word. And so I just touched his elbow, and I drew him back. And I said, Mr. Snipes, it's my turn. And so he's like, okay, he doesn't care who interviews him, but I took that opportunity to interview him by bringing him back. I wasn't going to let that moment slip me by. And so here's the thing, that oftentimes, like, there's opportunities that are all around us, right? Mm-hmm. One of the sayings I like to say is, see the opportunity, then seize the opportunity. I saw that opportunity, and it was literally a split second for me to take it. Because if I didn't do that, he would have kept on going down.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's
takers are money makers. So this is all.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Action money makers.
I love it.
You can bring that into your collaboration books.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, that's right. And
I'm going to.
It'll help all the authors in your book really condition themselves to know themselves as moneymakers.
Yeah, right? I love it. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's actually compliments of my mentor, Dan Locke. Yeah, so
I like that one. I got to write that down.
I got to give credit where credit's due, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when did you realize you're an influencer? Like, when was the moment that you were just like, wow, I'm like really influencing people and transforming lives?
I still don't know that.
Well, I looked at your Facebook this morning, and you have thousands and thousands of people. So,
well, it's
maybe in this show right now, you're going to be like, oh my God, I
have awareness. I have awareness now.
Exactly.
So, it's interesting, because we're all influencers. We all are. Sometimes we influence in bad ways. Sometimes we influence in positive ways. So as far as looking at that word influencer, I do know that there are people who follow me. And I also know that there are people that listen to what I have to share. I get this, people reach out to me, or like the other day, I was supposed to be doing an event, and I didn't know anybody cared about it. So I just didn't show up, and they're like, how come you weren't there? I was like, people are paying attention. So what does this mean? This means I have to be more aware of, that I'm showing up when I say I'm going to. And, and that was a huge awareness piece for me, that people are paying attention.
They are.
And so because they are, make sure I show up.
One time I showed up for something late, and I was just, it was interesting. I showed up late, and I was probably only like 15 minutes late for something, but because I showed up late, somebody had a conversation with me after about all of the credibility that I had built with him. He said that trust and everything had just gone away. And I was like,
oh, wow.
What? And I was selling a lot of things at this event. And I was in my lower self at the time. And I was just like behind, and that whatever was going on with me. But I showed up late and thinking it wouldn't really matter that much. But when he had the conversation with me about the impact that it had on him, and I'm thankful he did, I had no idea that some people would just be like, you know what, I don't trust them anymore, and just like lose that. Because he had the conversation with me and helped me to wake up to that, he still was a customer and everything was great. I was really happy about that. But how many people don't say things to you?
Yeah.
Probably most people would never say anything to you. They just, move on.
Well, I'm going to share my perspective on that, is that that's not a person that I would really want to have in my life anyway. No offense against him. It's just that, there's times that people are late for me, and I just say, that's okay. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Life happens. Because I want people who are like thinking of the positive aspect of it, that, because it's not all about me. It's not all about me. And for that person, my perspective is that it was all about him. It's like he didn't have any concern over why you were late. Maybe, I don't know, but it was like, ooh, she lost my credibility because she was late. Now, I'm not saying that being late is a good thing, but I'm saying that there are reasons sometimes, and maybe people want to see them as excuses, but some stuff happens. And, and I've had times where people aren't forgiving, and I say, you know what, that's good. That's all good with me. You don't have to forgive me. But I will let you know that I'm not interested in having a person who's not willing to forgive in my life. Because if I could forgive my dad, who's an abusive alcoholic, he was horribly abusive, I forgave him for all the harm that caused. Like, there was a lot of abuse in our family. If I can forgive that, I can forgive somebody for being 15 minutes late.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. And this is really cool also, because it has me think about, like, who's your market? Because there are some people who their market would be the people who want that punctuality and want that, like, high level integrity and want that. But then it's like, if you yourself as a person want more flow, you're going to need to create a market that's more in alignment with that. Otherwise, you'll be stressed out and they'll be stressed out, and it just doesn't match.
Yeah.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you, Lynda. What social media platforms are your favorite? Like, where do you like to hang out for people to follow you?
I keep dipping my toe into LinkedIn. I have like 12,000 followers, or whatever you call them on LinkedIn, connections over on LinkedIn. And I don't tap into that at all. And it's because I'm kind of like stuck in this Facebook world,
No, I'm going through the same thing. I'm
my gosh.
Sure, but I've been told that my market is all on LinkedIn for what I'm doing.
Me too.
But I'm not used to LinkedIn.
Me neither.
Yeah, so it's just one of those, like, I need to, like, really build that comfort level, and that, like I need to adopt it and make it my own. So it sounds like you need to do that too.
I'm almost feeling like I need to just dump Facebook and just move over to LinkedIn.
Facebook,
but
breaking up.
I know. I feel like I need to spend more time over on LinkedIn. Like, let me get to know it. Let me get to know you, and how do you operate?
Exactly.
Because it's got so much stuff going on over there. And I feel like for me, LinkedIn is, I feel like that's where my clients are. Like, they're sitting over there waiting for me. Yeah. But, it's like I'm holding on to this neighbor or this friend that I've had since 2008. I joined Facebook on Farmville, this game, right? That was a whole reason I joined it. And because my friend said, you should get on this thing called Farmville, because then you'll be able to connect with some of our old high school friends. And that was the whole reason I did it. And then it's turned into this whole different thing, which has been amazing. But I really feel like my potential clients are sitting there on LinkedIn, and I'm just not giving them the chance that I gave Facebook. So,
you know what? I agree with you 100%, because I know what you're doing, and I know I actually know some of the people in some of your books, and I would imagine that you're going to find more of those people on LinkedIn. Hey, speaking of people, I got a couple more pictures to share. Okay,
I'm ready.
All right. Oh, I love it. You were ready.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, do you want to tell me about this one?
Yes, this is Richard Dreyfuss, for those who don't know. Richard Dreyfuss was in so many movies. The first movie I think I saw him in was, I forgot the name, American Graffiti, which was like way, way back in the day. He was in Jaws and like all these different movies. So that particular picture right there, I had met him at a city gala event, just like I had met so many of these people on this journey. And then that picture right there was the day that he and I both were being accepted into this organization. And it was cool because he and I were newbies on the same day.
Isn't that great? Yeah. I'm a newbie with a celebrity. I think, I remember being nominated for something that Troy Ireland was also nominated for. He was in Matlock, but he's an actor. And I don't think at the time most people knew who he was, but I felt pretty excited because I was like, oh, I got nominated along with somebody who was in this big show. That's so cool.
That is really cool. That's so cool. It's fun, right?
It is fun. It is fun. All right. So what about Jack Canfield? I mean, everybody who's in our industries.
This is this is one of those stories that, again, see the opportunity, then seize the opportunity. When I met Jack Canfield, that was when I came up with that quote. I came up with over 750 quotes in 2015 when I was breaking through a fear every day. This was one of them. So how I actually met Jack Canfield was at City Gala, the same event. It's interesting how that event shows up a lot for me, especially with the celebrities. And so he was one of the celebrities and one of the speakers that night at the City Gala. And so when I showed up, now I was going to be interviewing stars on the red carpet. This was going to be my very first time that I was going to be interviewing them. So I had a lot of epiphanies during that event. But when I showed up, it was about 1 o'clock. Now I showed up late. I showed up really late because I was just taking my time. And I'm going to take my time. I'm going to show up when I show up. I didn't want to be on any.
That whole lateness thing. Sometimes it works out for you, right?
Oh my God. Check this out. I showed up late. It's like 1 o'clock. Well, in the morning had been the daytime event, and then they were on a lunch break. So when I showed up, the place was empty, except for Jack Canfield and 3 other people. And they were having a conversation like this, talking to each other. So they're having this conversation. I looked, I was, oh my God, it's Jack Canfield in my head. I'm going to get my picture with him. And that's what I was thinking. So what happened was they were talking for probably about 10 minutes. Again, I was paying attention. I have a lot of patience, and I stood there in my patient self. And when they were done talking, the 3 people turned around and walked away. Well, Jack turned around and walked toward me. I was near the exit door, so he was going out the exit. I don't know why they didn't all walk together out the exit. Those people went out one exit, and he went out a different one. And he said out loud, he said, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get some lunch. He wasn't talking to me. He was just talking out loud. And so I grabbed him by the shoulder, the elbow. And again, there's that elbow piece, right? I grabbed him by the elbow and I said, hey, Jack, I'm going to take you to lunch. And he goes, okay, where are we going? Like that.
Perfect.
And it was, again, an opportunity. Now, the younger me would have thought, okay, I don't want to disturb him, so I'll see him after he gets back from lunch. The newer me, the older me says, let's take the opportunity and make it happen. So we went to lunch, just he and I, and it was incredible because there were so many things I learned in that. It was like 2 hours. There were so many things I learned in that 2 hours. And I'll share with you one of them that was the biggest. I learned a lot, but this was the biggest in that time. As we were walking to lunch, because it was about maybe 1/8 of a mile away, we were at Universal Studios a theme park in California. And as we were walking to lunch, everybody was stopping him like, Jack, can I get a picture? Jack, can I get your autograph? I have this product I would love for you to see. Will you sign my book? Will you be in my book? Like everybody wanted something. So as we sat down for lunch, the first thing I said to him is, first thing I want you to know is that I'm not here to take anything from you. I just want to be in your presence. Mm-hmm. And I saw an immediate sense of relief. Like you could see his shoulders just relax,
Oh, thank goodness. It's refreshing. It's refreshing. I've had dinner with some celebrities that I just, again, happenstance. And the conversations when they know that you're not there just to get their autograph and to like get anything from them, it's like they are so much more at peace.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well,
Amazing.
I want to share with you I'll share with you. I know. I want to share with you the lesson I learned there though. Okay. Sure. With the Jack Canfield one. And that was because if you think about it, these influencers are followed around and are asked things of them all the time. Mm-hmm. So let's think about how we can actually give to them instead of taking from them. That's the lesson I learned there.
Oh my God. That makes me so happy you said that because, okay. So if you don't know, I have a summit every month and it's specifically all about being contribution to each other. It's about giving instead of like trying to get things from people. So first Thursday of every month, wheredreamsconnect.com. Did I freeze there? On my computer, it froze.
Oh no, you're
So,
good. I hear you.
okay, yeah. So the Creative Collaboration Summit, and it's like we've had some really high profile people come, and it's just like for them, they're so happy because they can be there, and nobody's there to try to get. It's like really just to be of service. It's amazing what happens. Like leads go back and forth, people share ideas and experience, and teach some things, and give resources, all that stuff.
It's awesome.
Super cool. Yeah, we have a few more things to cover, and amazing that you met Jack, and amazing that you had that time with him. In like 30 seconds, can you tell me about your meeting with Les Brown?
Yes, another amazing one. This was one that I was serving. I was organizing an event, and he was one of the speakers. And so I was in communication with him. And one day he called me up and he said, Lynda, when I'm in town, you make sure you come and see me because I'm going to teach you how to leverage my name. And so I got to sit with him, just he and I, for about 2 hours again. And it was just incredible that the man is as incredible, if not more incredible, in person than he is on the stage.
Oh, I would believe it. Because on the stage, people are like, they have to be like stage worthy and not fully in their own self, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Meeting in the relaxed environment, I'm sure people would be amazing. And how many people get a call from Les Brown saying, hey, I want to teach you how to leverage my name?
And it was during a live video. So I was doing this live video and his call comes in. I said, oh, I got to go. Les Brown's calling me. I can't remember. It was so funny. I was like, why is he calling me?
I don't know, but I'm taking it.
He was calling me to give. He was calling me to give. And he did not have to do that. Yeah.
Because he can see in you that you're making a difference for other people. And that's one of the things with people in the personal and professional development industry is like they can see people who are really there, who can make a difference for other people. Right. And I think that's one of the things that, like, I've had a lot of people, want to bring me up and get me there. But the thing is that I wasn't mentally or emotionally ready to take that on yet. Even if the celebrities and things were like, hey, you got to do this. I was keeping things small, doing it until I felt like my kids had enough stability and going on. And right. Like I had to get myself to a certain point before I could be like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Congrats.
Thank you.
Couple more quick questions. I want to know how many people are on your team, or how do you manage all of your stuff? When I look on your social media, it's just like, it looks like you're everywhere and you have so much going on. Do you have a team?
For my social media, no, I do all of that myself as of right now, as of this moment, because that will change at some point. But I do have a team, with the book publishing and stuff. Like I have somebody who's full-time with me, Sally Green. She's amazing. She's our vice president of author development. Yeah, Sally, she rocks. And then we have 4 other people on our team, but they're not full-time, So we do have a team of 6 people. I would not be able to do what we've done, definitely, if I were all by myself.
Okay, got it. Thanks. I'm going to rapid fire questions at you so we can.
Okay, I'm going to rapid fire answer, I promise.
Ooh, okay, so who are 3 people that you've wanted to connect with that haven't connected with yet?
Oh, I haven't. Oh gosh, I don't know, because I've connected with so many incredible people. Okay. It really has. I think those 3 people are out there and I just haven't met them yet. I don't know who they are yet.
Beautiful. Okay. And then what's like a lifetime goal that you want to achieve the most?
Well, our mission, my mission, at Action Takers Publishing is to empower 5 million women and men to share their stories with the world to make a greater impact. So that's my legacy that I will be leaving when I'm gone. And that is the biggest, that's the vision.
That's why you were meant to have lunch with Jack Canfield. Use his system. Just follow that system. He had other people write the stories, and he had 3 people that would do lots of interviews. Like this is an interview, for example, but they would do interviews. I think they said, I think they were doing like 4 a week or something like that as they grew it out. I don't remember, but just whatever he did, follow that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know that story. I'll have to go listen to read it.
Okay. Yeah. Cause you can do it. All right. And what's the biggest mistake that you've made in business that stopped you from achieving your goal faster?
Oh my gosh, so many, but I'll choose one. Just allowing fear to stop me.
Yeah. Isn't it great? I mean, you got the year of fear, but that doesn't stop the fact that fear still comes. Right?
Yeah. Well, now when I recognize that I'm having fear, I have awareness of fear. When I have that awareness that I'm experiencing fear, I say, oh, you know what? I got to go do this because I'm scared. So now fear fuels me instead of stops me.
Yeah. What a difference. What a difference.
Yeah.
And then what's the biggest, oh, you just shared it. What's the biggest lesson?
That was it. Yeah.
Okay, great. And if there was any one question that I haven't asked that you would like me to ask, what is it?
Like, where do I see myself in 50 years? There we go.
Well, where
Because
do you see yourself then?
yeah, it was when I was 13 years old, I decided that I was going to live to be at least 113 because that was the year of our bicentennial in the States. And so I want to be here to the tricentennial. That's where I see myself in actually 50 something years, 54 years.
That's freaking incredible. That's
It
incredible.
ain't over. It ain't over.
Yeah,
I'm going to be
no.
here for the tricentennial, you know?
I watched this woman on YouTube yesterday and she's in her 90s and she was like, she's doing fitness training at a gym. And that's
Oh,
what
nice.
she's doing. And she looks incredible, like incredible. And I'm like,
That's
dude.
awesome.
And then here I am and I'm sipping my tea and I'm sitting down and in this kind of lifestyle. I'm like, I don't think this is going to give me that. I should really look at it. Awesome. Well, Lynda, it has been amazing to have you on the show. This is Harmonic Habits. I got one question, I guess, and it's what one single word would you say would be an ABC of living a great life?
One word. I'll hyphenate it. Take action.
Take action. Okay, great. And why did you choose take action?
Well, it's all about action. Nothing happens without action. We can manifest, pray, desire, want, all these things. Like, I want this in my life, hope. And if nothing, and if it comes to us and it's sitting in front of us and we don't take action, nothing is going to happen.
Exactly. Awesome. You've been a fabulous guest.
Thank you.
I would love to have you again at some point. And until later, peace out.
Thank you.
Thank you.